Okay, my lovelies, I just want to set this up for you. I'm making individual gratin and celeriac potato and Swiss chard. And it's lighter than a regular, scallop potatoes because of the celeriac and the chard. And I'm going to do them in individual bowls. I'm using equal amounts of, by weight, of potatoes, celeriac or celery root, and the chard I cooked down last night. And they're not quite equal, but they're equal enough. And I don't know how many bowls it will take, but I'm going to say 4. Oops, let me not break them. So obviously, I've altered this recipe for individual portions, and because I think they're fun and they're really easy to freeze and heat up, because you can microwave or you can heat in the oven earthenware bowls. These are handmade French onion soup bowls, and I've never used them for soup, but I have used them to make individual vegetarian mushroom lasagnas, which perhaps I'll do at a later date. So I have 2 large potatoes, 2 small celeriac. I weighed them, they're the same. And I have a little bit less in weight than this, but it's all I had. It's around 400 grams of Swiss chard after it's cooked. These are, before peeling, these are 540, 550 grams. You don't have to do that. Just use 2, and a bunch, like a good big bunch of Swiss chard. Now, I didn't show you, because I've shown you before, how you cook down Swiss chard. So I'll reprise it here. You rip off the leaves, put them in a nice bowl, and then you chop up the stems. And my stems are quite large. Some of them are tiny little stems. But really big stems, you have to cook them first. Cook them in oil with some garlic slices for a little added flavor. And I would season that with salt to help them weep out like you would onions or celery in a mirepoix. And then after maybe 5 minutes, well, when you see they're soft, you can tell with the wooden spoon when they're soft, because you won't be able to tell when they're transparent, although it does look kind of transparent. The white ones do. And then you put the leaf, now you chop the leaves quite coarsely, put them in on top, and then use this tongs and flip them around to get them to wilt, and that takes 2 minutes. And then I would throw some pepper on there. And so I made this in advance and kept it in the fridge. So what we're going to do now is we're going to peel these, and we're going to put them in separate water baths so that they don't turn brown. And then we're going to slice them in around 2 to 3 millimeters thick. And I have the rest of my nutmeg here. I'm going to try to use it up before I buy more. And we're going to do cream, and I'm going to do cheddar cheese. Although I would like to do another kind of cheese, but for this purpose, I think that's the most economical. Okay, loves, I peeled my 2 potatoes, and I saved the peeling of these celery roots for the end to show you. It's not that hard. Cut off the root, and you can tell where, you can give it a good guess. You see where all the kind of gnarly parts are, and just cut down. I've honed this knife or sharpened the other one. You're gonna get little pieces like that. That's normal. And then just like you would do, you need a flat surface like this. That's why you cut it sharp like that. And then you just go down like you're peeling a squash or a potato. Or a pumpkin. So you just keep going, and that's why you need a sharp knife. And these are quite hard, but when I was at the store, I had to pick the harder ones. A lot of them were spongy because they are old and been sitting there and no one buys them. So that's why you pick the hardest ones. You don't want spongy ones. And then you keep going. Let me do the whole thing. I don't think you can see it. So you just take your knife and go around as best you can. And then at the end, oh, and the aroma's amazing because these are really fabulous things. These are fabulous root vegetables. So now you can see where the parts you missed and just cut them off. And at the bottom, you can gently cut off the skin like this. And it shouldn't give you any trouble. That side I didn't get well. There'll be some brown pits. Okay. And these will probably brown. Feels good. This little piece here, we'll just kind of cut it out. But you don't have to be obsessive about this, because these all, once you get the brown part off, it cooks down nicely and it doesn't get problematic. So they do kind of turn brown, so put them in the water with the potatoes. And now I have this side down. I'll probably cut that out, and I'll do the same thing, trying to keep it formed without cutting too much away. See? And this bit we'll cut off at the end, so we'll just keep going. Just keep going. Keep going. And this is just dirt, so that'll wash off. And then you take off the part that you missed at the bottom, like that. And you're using a little bit of force, but trying to do it gently so you don't hurt yourself. And people with knives know how to do these things. Okay, and that's nice. And I kind of like to keep the flat bottom. I didn't here, but it will be important for when we slice it. And I'm going to use a mandolin. But before I use the mandolin, I'm going to show you how to do it without. So that's done. And then this little piece, I'm just going to cut out like that. And I should use a paring knife for this because I feel like this is something that could easily get out of hand. And you don't want to, you just have to be careful. Okay, that's the bottom line. And then see, take out that little brown part, put it in the water. I'm going to top the water off on this, and I'm going to say that one looks perfect. By the way, potatoes and celeriac are best friends. They make a great puree. I make a puree using one huge celeriac and one tiny potato, and people love the flavor and they don't even know what it is, because the potato provides the creaminess and the starch. So that's it. I'm going to clean up here before I do the slicing, and I'm also going to grate some cheddar cheese. Okay, folks, I hope you don't mind. I'm doing this in many short segments. It's just that I think that each one, requires a little time. I wanted to show you that I want how to slice both of the tuber and the root. And I want to do slices about that big, thick. I'd say that's about 3 millimeters. And it's perfectly achievable with a knife. However, I also have a machine for this, and I just don't like cleaning that machine, so out using it, but I also have this, which is, hold on, a mandolin. And you can do it here, you can do it a little bit faster. You just have to be careful of your fingers and just do it like this. And when it gets down to the close to your fingers, so there, I achieved the same thickness. See? Oh, there you are. And they're nice. So we want that to be in water. When you get down to the last one, you either throw it out or you slice it yourself, and that piece will be useless. So we want to put these in water also. And the same's going to be done for the celeriac, same thickness. They take the same amount of time to cook, and this is just so fast and so even, there's no reason not to use it. It's just you have to be careful, and you take the flat side, obviously, and okay, these are tougher than potatoes, and there's a perfect thickness. Put them in the water. Now, one might put them in different bowls of water in case you were confused which one was potato and which one wasn't, but I don't think, I won't get confused, and I don't think you will. And I don't have a lot of room here for extra bowls of water. So, and also, did you notice I'm not cutting on the lengthy side, I'm cutting on the width. Okay. Like that. I don't want you to see a bloodbath on my show here. So, put those in. To be honest, I don't know how many individual pots this will fill, because I haven't tried an individual. But just know that if you're doing this for a party, or a dinner party, or a family gathering, you could do it in one dish, one baking dish, like a normal 7 by or 9 by 12 or 7 by 9 baking dish. The other thing is, maybe we just do it with our knife, like that. It's a good slice. I probably won't use the end. And this one, let's pour some water in here. Keep it covered. I'll use this bowl for the cream mixture. And then you would cut one side like that, and you wedge it like this, keeping your knuckles in and your fingers out. And we have a sharp knife, and there's a slice. Don't need that. You have the flat side down. We got that piece. And we have one more, I'd say. Let's go like that. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grate some cheese. I'll do it without the machine. I want, half a block of cheddar. This can be done without cheese, and in fact, most gratins don't use cheese. They use, you just use the heavy cream, or you cook the potatoes in milk and save some of the milk with the starch. Pour that back in with a little cream and add cheese on top. Or in this case, you could use vegetable stock and no cream, and it would be fine. And you could use, or just use the cream and no cheese. But the cream has to be seasoned, and we're going to also get our nutmeg out in the nutmeg grinder. Okay, folks, we're getting there. We have the oven coming up to 355 Fahrenheit. I've grated, well, this is 200, and I have this left. I was eyeballing it because I just want to put a little bit on each. And I have 6 containers here. I don't know if I'll be using all 6. But I didn't grate it all, but I used the trusty hand grater, which works really fast, really easy. You want to see? I used the short edge at first, blah, 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 blah. And it comes out really fast and easy. Hard cheeses, this is, like I said, old cheddar. But, well, I didn't say, but it is cheddar and it is old. And it comes out really fast. Hard cheeses might be more difficult to handle. And as I said before, if I had company, I would do this with Gruyere, because it's a delicious Swiss melting cheese. And then I used my antique nutmeg grater, and I grated half an entire nutmeg with it, and that wasn't hard either. And now we're going to do 250 mils of heavy cream. Wow, there's quite a rainstorm coming. I can hear it. 250 mils of heavy cream. Well, my bowl is a little big for that, but that's okay. Pour that in. We're going to add, let it drip, we're going to add all of the nutmeg. Most gratins have nutmeg. It's a favorite classic ingredient in scalloped potatoes and, sorry about that, French cooking. We're going to add a pinch of salt, and we're going to add a pinch of pepper. And I'm not going to, just a little. And then we're going to whisk it. This is just meant to cover the gratin. And as I mentioned before, lots of gratins don't require cheese. And this one doesn't. Kind of want to get it all out. I don't have my spatula, but if, for instance, this, you know what, I might put a little more in, because I'm a little worried I don't have enough, and there's just a little left in the container, so why keep a couple of tablespoons chilled in the fridge for no reason. So there, that should be good. And as this comes to the right temperature, I'm going to start the process. Alright, so I'm going to start with 4, and I'm going to lay, and now you would do this with a large dish. You know, imagine you have a normal sized baking dish. Okay, so you could layer the bottom. See, these will fit quite perfectly, but I feel like they don't get to the sides, so I'm going to cut them in half. Make sure they get to the sides, and then take smaller pieces and fill in. These are actually the perfect size, but there's this element left, this amount left. And why do all that chopping if you're not going to get the celery flavor? So I'm going to split them into half and then fill in the spot with smaller pieces, like this one. You can even make it on an angle, like that. And don't worry, this is all going to cook down. So you just keep going. I'm just going to keep going with all of these, just like that. The determining factor is actually how much chard you have. So that's going to be interesting to see whether I have enough chard to fill 6 of these bowls. But just know that the bottom is the celeriac layer. And I'm going to make a nice triangle like that. So you know your bottom's full. Alright? And I'm going to keep going. And if you have a leftover celeriac, save it. Because you can make a coleslaw out of it, which is something I'm going to show you at another time. So let's just get you situated here. Bottom layer's all in there. I don't need this here right now. I have this and I need a fork. And we're going to cover each one of these with the cooked chard. Like that. Yum. Oh, I think I'm going to have enough. I can go fast with this quickly so I don't bore you. Make sure you get a sample of stems and greens. And you know what? I'm gonna use it all. I thought I might not have enough, but I really want to use it all because I have no other purpose for this. And it will help fill the dishes too. So that's a good sign. So here's this one. Some of these, try to make them even, but 6 bowls works. This has a little too much. This doesn't have enough. That has a bit too much. This one doesn't have enough. These are going to be so good. And you know what? I don't know why people hate chard. They say it tastes bitter, but it's not when you cook it properly. Maybe it's just me. I like a little bitterness. It actually helps to balance, especially if you're using cream. Anyway, so that's good. There's going to be 6. There will be 6 of these. Put that away, and now we're going to fish out the potato slices. And here you want to overlap potatoes around the top, overlapping. If you had a big dish, that would make it really pretty. Go from the outside into the middle. But these are tiny dishes, so you just use your eyeball. You know what? I don't like how that's falling, so I'm going to cut it like that and add that piece like that. Keep going, and maybe these cut pieces will fill in. You know, it's a little awkward when you have small dishes, but that's, you know, part of the point. If you have the big dish, you don't have to cut and paste like this, but you do want to overlap. And you won't, if you had the big dish, you wouldn't even need to cut anything. You just overlap. Okay. And now as I get to smaller pieces of potato, I don't have to cut either. There's one. All right, so obviously I have a lot of potato left too. I'm going to reassess whether everything's covered sufficiently because, well, you know, I adjusted this for these 6 containers, and sometimes it's better to have more than to have less. Sorry, this is a long video. Anyway, you get the point. I'm going to do this video all in one and just overlap. I'm overdoing it all in one because it gets kind of tedious to check everything out before starting in each step. So here we go. We're going to have a delicious, okay, so I couldn't see that part of the bowl from where I'm standing. So I'm just going to overlap, put that one in there. Don't bother pressing down, they're going to puff up. So let's just see. Do I have everything covered? Yeah, it's there. So I'm going to keep the celeriac. I don't really need the leftover potato, but it's only a few slices. They're kind of nice, and this is a thin one. I'm going to use these thin ones on top just to gild the lily and make sure it's covered. Oh, look, so that sound means my oven is up to temp, which is perfect timing. So let's just keep, you know what, I'm going to use as much as the potato as I can. I just want to cover every hole. Let's try. There. Cover every hole where the spinach, well, I call it spinach, the chard, sorry, comes out. And then I won't need to throw out the rest of the potato. I only have tiny pieces left. So that's good. You don't have to worry about wasting. Not that potatoes are expensive or anything. So I only have I only have two pieces, one plus two little pieces potato left. I'm going to save that. I'm just going to cut the small one, put it on top, try to make a nice pattern, like a pinwheel, and then we'll be happy. Because you know me, I could do this, I could keep going, and then the video would run out of electricity, and we would all collectively lose that, go bat crazy. Okay, that's good enough. Two pieces left, so that's good. Here's the look. Alright, so now this is where we pour on our, I'd actually like to pour the cream on. That has been seasoned, and there's lots of nutmeg. I'm going to put it back in this dish. I'm going to pour it on. 1, 2, equally. 3, 4, 5, 6. There's more left, so keep going. A little at a time, little at a time, little at a time. Keeping them equal, like that. Do not stinge on this part, or you won't have a gratin. And I can tell I've wasted, there's stuff left, so hold on. I just like the spout, rather than trying to do it from the bowl. And you can see all the seasoning, a lot of the seasoning is on the bottom. Okay, that's good enough. And just check out that everything's covered. I can see greenery that's not covered. So we'll just cover what we can. You know, when you cook these for a while, they will bubble up. So then we're going to add the cheddar. Now, this could be done without, like I said, I keep saying it, for those who are trying to be heart smart. And I also have adding cheese also creates an issue for the cooking. So it changes. So if you had no cheese, you would, if you had no cheese, you just put them in like that. But because there's cheese, I'm going to cover them with foil for the first 30 minutes. The total cooking time is 45 at 355. And I'm going to uncover them for the last 15 minutes. So cooked with foil on top. And I'm going to put them on a baking sheet. Hold on. Because they like to spill, they like to boil over. Let's see if this will fit them all. I'm putting the spouts out. Yes, that will be fine. And then I'm going to, where's the foil? Oh yeah. So I'm just going to cover them individually in aluminum foil with the shiny side down. And, you know the rest of the story. Hold on. Doesn't have to be overdone. You want to be able to peel it off after 30 minutes. The reason I'm doing that is because the cheese will burn in 45 minutes, but it will melt and not burn with it covered. And I think I'm using too much here. You don't need to get crazy. They don't need to be sealed. You just want to protect it from burning. And then the last 15 minutes, that should be enough time for them to brown, because you want the bubbly cheese to have a slight brown color and slightly, I guess you could call it Maillard effect texture. Okay, they're going into the oven right now, and I'm going to set the, hold on, handles. Ooh, earthenware's heavy. Don't throw it on your glasses in the dish, in the sink. Okay, folks, it's been an hour. I'll explain why in a moment, but it's looking promising. So let's take out the gratin, plural. They look really good and a little bit cheesy, but not too cheesy. And there's a lot of bubbling going on, and they're very hot. So what happened was, after the 30 minutes, I took the foil off, and then I left 15 minutes without foil, and I checked with the fork, and the potatoes were not tender. So I left them in, so I left another, and now they're very tender and very creamy. And you just use the fork to tell you, like that, and it goes right through. So that's perfect. They're gonna bubble and sizzle, and you wouldn't serve them like that because people would harm themselves trying to eat it. You let it rest for 10 or 15 minutes before serving, which is what I'm going to do before taking a photo. But anyway, that's the potato, celeriac, and chard. You can smell the chard. It's a great mix, actually. And like I said, you have the browning just browned and the potatoes just tender. And I know that the celeriac will be fine. It's been on the bottom where a lot of the heat comes from. So that's really good vegetarian stuff right there. Voila.